Unaga want ya. You want John Wish. You not ever palava. You want choice. You get Oscar. You want wrong with speed. But you want show. You want show. But you want show. And I mean, yeah, I just came a little grip. Where my hand I wish I cannot post it. You know on salary, but you want him a check. Why you want him a check? When the moko finish, then you start to pay. You not got here, then you want some more weed. You can pay bills, then you want everything. You say the food not sweet, but you still eating it. Tell me what you for, and you could chop it. You unaga want ya. Yo. You want John Wish. Look. You not ever palava. See, you want choice. You get Oscar. You want wrong with speed. But you want show. You want show. But you want show. Yo. All I think you doing my hand inside. All I ever ask a friend, tell your hand for inside. You want the pizza, don't eat pizza, you want glikata. Slow your speed, get prepared for the rebound. You only wish you realize you will never want ya. You go for meeting to bring your chat, then you start to cry. The thing you not ever, you go there, you will show the cable. Making money with you, then you spend it on labor table. Your family crying, you're begging, they can't look on the table. Putting yourself on big show, that big flow. You get big mouth, then you say you big shot. You got time to afford, you get big heart. You talking too much, your mouth full of salava. Soon I take break, you prepare for a palava. You better stop it, I have it, I think it's necessary. Don't let me scary, I hear it, I think I get it headache. To my vision, I'm good for strapper. Strapper. To my vision, I'm good for hustlers. Strapper. That I get to my easy button, you in the gata. And you know, say your podcast stay in the garage. You know, your ma, you still want how to shake it that. Younger black, but the money you want take seat. You now want drink, but you choose anything. You can pass square, but you want something sweet. Your teeth are correct in your mouth, but you want you meat. You not get self when you send me for credit. So why you gonna go there? You not get TV, but you get buying this. You not get boyfriend yet, then you want marry now. So at the sky, they make me fall from. You only get one job. Yo. You want John Wish. Look. You not ever palava. See, you want choice. You get Oscar. Look. You want wrong with speed. But you want show. You want show. But you want show. To my vision, I'm good for strapper. Strapper. To my vision, I'm good for hustlers. Strapper. You only got one job. You want John Wish. Yo. You not ever palava. You want choice. You get Oscar. You want wrong with speed. But you want show. You want show. But you want show. It's a panaro. Takunche. Siripira batala.
It's right on the beat.
And they come and help me out every other weekend. I am out here in Roger Williams Park across the street from the tennis court every other weekend, Saturday and Sunday, mostly every single Saturday for the summer, throughout the summer. So this is my small shop. I sell lashes, suitcases with waist beads, lip gloss, lashes, healing bracelets, waist beads, the lash pouches. I'm making bracelets right now at this moment. I just made 4. And I have a whole bunch of waist beads in this box right here. These are scrunchies. Literally, I have a whole bunch of varieties. Baby bracelets, this is what they look like. Healing bracelets, that's what they look like. And that's pretty much what I sell.
see the money again, like Brentford, I put it because Ali and I see them carrying in Europe. Some point in the country, all government are in eligible interest. That's the money. But we say, I don't know money. The small money will go to our people there, go pay for the small best. I can't pay her in one country the best. So I was going to tell the money I carry to Ghana, correct? But one country get it hard than me, I will take it from you, Gary. No. Yeah, I'll leave it. Yes. The day God take me, I will carry her with me. No. Our grandchildren, I will kind of see the ones there, but what kind of looking for? They go book pound on there. So these are the things we'll be doing. So I just want to say thank you to for doing what he's doing. What is the young man doing? He's just doing part. One day will not be represented.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Welcome to another day that the Lord has given us, and let us be blessed in it. My topic for this morning hinge around the issues of violence in my country and the idea that some Liberians in the United States of America want to promote a violent leader as a proponent of good governance. Do you believe that? My topic for the day, a return to living with violence in Liberia. 2, Rhode Island's Liberian Community Association invites Monrovia baby mayor of violence and death to Rhode Island for his official state citation for good governance in Liberia. Do you believe that? Let me take a coffee break and we'll talk about all the shenanigans going on around. It's so sad that after nearly 40 years of striving to change our country, the leaders of our country today are striving to put our country back in a situation that we just got out of, into a situation of lawlessness, violence, disrespect for rule of law and order. Our leaders won't put us back into that. Why? Because it's a trend all over Africa now. People want to stay in power for more than their term limits. What's wrong with our African people? Are we crazy? Or is it that our people are so gullible and the rates of illiteracy so high in our country that we want only one person to control our nation who we think, our nations, who we think can bring us better living, better governance, better direction. But it doesn't work like that, my people. We can't make laws. Then certain people come and try to change our laws because they think they could. Liberia is an example. And Tottenham. We have a system of governance where everybody served for 2 terms and left. When Tottenham got there, the Liberian people felt that he was good. He was the man they wanted because he was corrupt. And at that time in our society, in our history, there were no thought or loyalty to our government and people. Because at that time, majority of our people were not part of the Liberian politics. So because the majority of the people were not part of our politics, the government under Tubman, being so corrupt, bribed the whole nation of indigenous people that were under his control and those that were loyal to him from the civilized society or community. So our country became corrupt on both sides. So Tubman could stay in power. And that today, there are people that are die-hard loyalists to William V.S. Tubman. According to politics, if you do politics, he was a superb leader because he maintained his political system. So on our theories of political science and studies, he's a good leader because a good leader is one who can maintain law, order, discipline, and his system for the entirety of his leadership. So being a dictator, Tubman knew how to manipulate the Liberian society by bribing us, by deceiving us, by lying to us, by misleading us. And all these things kept him in power for 30 years. So he was good for his system. Tubman, on the other hand, was otherwise. He was not good because instead of protecting the system and himself, he let other people take over our system to manipulate it. And they took over the system so bad. We're talking about George Weah letting other people run the system. Look at Tubman. He let his family run the system. And they caused him to bring Ghanaian troops on our soil. And that ended up in the death of Tubman. How will you bring foreign people, Ghanaians, who are not any better than Liberians? What makes the Ghanaian people better than the Liberian people? What makes the Liberian people better than the Ghanaian? We're all in the same 6 or 7 boat of corruption, deception, lies, and treachery. Then you go bring a group that controlled by Sekou Touré, who have been in power for so long, and he himself was a dictator. Then you go bring troops from Guinea to come protect Liberian leadership. Are you crazy? So right there, Tubman wrote his death warrant. Because your own soldier in your country, you neglect them. That shows that you have no authority over your troops. Your people are not loyal to you. Your soldiers are not patriots to the system itself. If you can go and bring foreigners to come and protect your regime, that is a serious neglect of duty of the president of the Republic of Liberia. And so, because Tubman was negligent and neglectful of his duties, he was overthrown. He was overthrown. He let his family dictate the rules of leadership for Liberia. And that brought destruction to him and his family. And the same thing happened to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She put all her children in power and she destroyed herself because her legacy is dead. We know who she is now. She's a traitor. She's an evil woman. Not only to Liberia, to the whole Africa. She sold Africa to the World Bank and foreign nations. She sold us. So, to further deceive us, she gave us a stooge to rule our country. Turn us over to the slum lords and warlords and evil people, corrupt people to rule our nation. And now we are reaping the benefits of the evil works of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Now this evil government has taken us back into the 1960s. Burning people homes, throwing rocks at our students and in the universities and things, is blaming it on the students. Those cannot be the Liberian students. Soup students never took up rocks to retaliate against these people. These people, they ran from these people. So it is evident from the video we saw that it was the hooligans and thugs that took up rocks and threw it in people at people's homes in the middle of the city. You just throwing rock and randomly, inadvertently, and they're not even inadvertently, just randomly throwing rocks without any caution or thinking about the repercussion of what may happen. I showed some people innocent people got hurt from those stones that were thrown, but they didn't go to government to report it. Some of them are suffering their own ills. Then you see them throwing rocks at the university, AME University, and then they're blaming the students. The students never threw rocks. The evidence shows that it was the thugs of the CDC that attacked those students with rocks, and they ran. Most of them ran. And those that they caught, we saw how they mistreated them and ill-treated them. So now, the violence has escalated to the point where they're burning the house of the Unity Party chairman. How can we ever go back to peace and stability when you're burning people's property for thousands of dollars? Thousands of dollars, okay, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you don't know what was in a man's house. Then you injure his children. The people in the house placed in danger of death. This violence cannot be quelled. It has gone to the state now. We're going back to the 1980s, because when you burn people's house, a car, and injure their children, what do you expect to happen? You expect to go back to the table and talk peace and love and harmony? No. People are looking for revenge. People want vengeance. You can't do that to people in a state of democracy and peace and stability. That's lawlessness. There's no security in our country. You burn the mayor's house, nobody there to show up. Let's look at this thing here.
Well, good morning. Sorry we come at you. This is Cool Online 2. We here in the compound of Reverend Luther Tapper, the newly elected chairperson for the former ruling Unity Party. Compound was caught by fire early this morning by unknown individuals. So we
have the National Secretary General of the Unity Party, Mr. Amos Tua. Quite recently, he was elected to this position. This year, they are all coming their member as partisan of the Unity Party and other hierarchy as well. They are here. They will be telling us exactly what they make about this situation now that the chairman was caught by fire. Welcome to Across the Media. Welcome.
Thank you.
What you hear this morning, tell us how are you looking at this situation that's happened so far?
This is an attack on the opposition community. As a matter of fact, you know that since the election of the national chairman, Dr. Luther Tapper, and myself as National Secretary General of the Unity Party, the government has been very much uneasy about our elections. And so they have been finding ways to silence us, to intimidate us, and to the point where we will be kept at bay. So we've been receiving a couple of intelligence that there will be attack. there will be attack to intimidate us, particularly on the chairman and myself and other members of the hierarchies of the Unity Party and other opposition members. And so yesterday, the chairman and myself will spend the whole day at the national headquarters of the Unity Party. We left from there in the night. Prior to that, 2 days ago, we got intelligence that there is a black vehicle that have always been tailing the national chairman, another one, myself, and then the wife of the national chairman and other hierarchies of the Unity Party. And so this was well calculated and was well hatched. So this is the situation. You have a fire starting with the vehicle of the national chairman in the fence. It tells you that it was calculated. So somebody might have come and just threw a petrol bomb. The fire did not start from this way or any other place for that matter, but right in the vehicle of the national chairman. And then the fire went this way. So unfortunately, we had a couple of young folks who living with the chairman, sleeping in their house. One of them got very severely burned. Currently, they are at the EAWA hospital. So we consider this in the opposition community as an attack on the opposition.
Well, basically, before some of our police come in, this is an allegation. You said you've been observing this situation that apparently was going to happen. But did you report this to the public? Did you report it to relevant authorities that, look, we're seeing individuals who have been, apparently tailing the chairman and that subsequently this has happened? Did you report it to relevant authorities?
We have been raising the alarm. We've been raising the alarm there. In the first place, the intimidation started from Bond County when we were having our convention. The national chairman of the CDC was in Bond County, and he was using young folks to try to thwart the democratic will of the people, to disturb the convention. And so the moment we came back to Monrovia, the situation started to occur, and we started to raise the alarm bell with other relevant authorities, not just in government, but even in the Unity Party. And so this is the situation. That's why it has culminated to this action on the national chairman. So probably the next 2 or 3 weeks from now, you might hear that my house got burned, and somebody might try to downplay it, or other members of the opposition community. So this is an attack not just on the Unity Party, not just on a national chairman, but it's an attack on the whole of the opposition community in Liberia. And this is well calculated.
So, Honorable Secretary General, go back to the question that you said you've been seeing and hearing. Have you reported this to the Liberian National Police, because they are charged with the responsibility to actually protect us, just in case you feel insecure?
The Liberian National
you have to
Police,
report. Did you report as the Secretary of the Unity Party?
We have no much trust in the Liberian National Police. You quite witnessed on July 26th when a young man was being beaten by CDC thugs. The video carried a national police officer walking and clapping and laughing. How do you then expect us to report such a situation with a police officer who himself or who themselves are serving as accomplices to some of the torturing conducted by the ruling party? Just this morning, since this morning the incident occurred by 1 a.m. up to now, which one of them have you seen around? There's no disaster management team here. Liberia National Police is not here. There's no apparatus from the government cycle that have even come to say, let's conduct initial investigation.
So how did you come to the conclusion that this particular incident is being orchestrated by the ruling party?
I mean, you can see the way situation has occurred. Which one of the houses you pretty much tell me that fire got at the house and started with the vehicle of the national chairman, the house owner. Imagine that. You can point to it. It started with the vehicle and then it went in the other house. So had it not been for the rescue mission carried out by residents of this community, the fire would have gone on the other side, unfortunately. So this is a situation that is alarming and it's unfortunate. So it's important for us to raise this alarm bell and bring it forward to the attention of the international community, our development partners, that the intimidation started as far as in Lofa County, when Thomas Fala started to put young people in khaki and with the determination to continue to intimidate opposition folks. So this one is not an isolated incident. It's part of the grand design to intimidate the opposition community to the extent where we will be much more silent. And this is not going to silence us. I must say this to you.
You're not having trust in the Liberian National Police. What do we expect from the Unity Party? Because you were saying that you did not report the information to the Liberian National Police upon hearing that people were telling you, and this incident has occurred. What action are you going to take to prevent yourself from being involved in such a situation that your chairman is in?
In any case, I must say this to you, even though we don't have trust in them, but at the agency we have around. So they're going to be brought to their attention officially. Notwithstanding, I must say this to you, the opposition community is not going to sleep. We will not continue to tolerate or allow agents of the government, agents of the ruling party, intimidating opposition folks and branding the houses of opposition members, and you expect that we will clap for them. The opposition is going to get ready. We will gain up in our numbers, and if this thing continues, we'll continue to retaliate.
So there we are. The proof is in the pudding. You burn the people's house, the people getting ready for war. The people going to call the numbers together, and they're going to start protecting themselves. You start dressing your people in khaki, put them up in Bond County at the people convention to intimidate them, create violent situations up there. Then you come in Liberia, in Monrovia, where the people reside, with this violent, they Kitty or rule as mayor. You come in Okonde, put things on fire. And Jefferson Koji is the leader of violence in Liberia. He's the head of all the criminal acts going on in our country. He's one of them. He was even accused of killing the American general in his room during Charles Taylor regime. He's accused of that. He's the one that they say hit in the ceiling and slipped in the mayor's room to kill him. This the mayor. People talking all over Liberia. He's a harbinger of violence and death in Liberia. And this is the man our community in Rhode Island is inviting to Rhode Island to introduce to the Rhode Island government for a citation for good governance. Let me take a break. And we'll deal with this other criminal in due time.
CDC. So this is why you are seeing on your screen. My name is Michael. Welcome to this lab. So we ask that you share this video, invite others as we continue our live broadcast. As you can see there, Chairman Ben took part of the Council of Patriot Viewing. He is all dressed up in white, long sleeve, white short sleeve shirt. He is here alongside with members of the Council of Patriot Viewing. They are here to.
Want to say moving forward, when there is any call demonstration, as lawmakers can lead, want to say in my official capacity, whether you call me mayor or you call me youth chairperson, want to assure the public and international community we will be protectors of our democracy, we will be on the scene also. We will lead such forces also. Now, my people, this is totally a matter of shame. This man, Jefferson Koji, behind me, who is the perpetrator of violence and even death in our country. He's the mayor, a thug mayor of the country, immature. Now, after the incident of July 26, 2022, where our students were chased off the streets by thugs throwing rocks at them and beating them up and stripping them naked in the street. Led by this man, thugs led by this man, put out in the street by this man against peaceful students protesting under the lawful and constitutional protection of our country. He sent his thugs to stone them and run them off the street. Now you heard him talking about he's the youth chair. What kind of old man like this would be youth? Would be youth. Calling for violence in our country. Now after all that has happened, the leadership of the Liberian Community Association in Rhode Island and one or two people working for the state who went to Liberia and joined the CDC government and still working in the state of Rhode Island have promised Jefferson Koji and invited him to Rhode Island and promised him they're going to get him citation from the Rhode Island government for good governance in Liberia. Why? Because they're in government. and they can manipulate the system to give this criminal, vandal, and violent killer citation from the state of Rhode Island. And you know, after I heard it yesterday from Yacinda Boye talking about it. She called some names, which I'm not going to mention here because they don't deserve that dignity, of Liberian people in Rhode Island who are supporting this man and want him to come for citation to meet the government of Rhode Island so they can gain citation to go back to Liberia and show the Liberian people that in spite of all his actions and violence and evil, the people in Rhode Island think he's a good leader and have given him citation of good governance. So this is deception. They want to rain on our people. And this is, I got a call right after my show yesterday because I didn't hear it from nobody in Rhode Island. I heard it from Yacinda Boye on her show. As soon as she mentioned Rhode Island and called it two names, I knew what was happening. That's why I came out with it. I said, no, we're not promoting this in our state. Right after I got off the show, Melvin Howard, one of our community leaders, called me and said, Chesson, you heard what's happening in the community? These guys want to invite Jefferson Koji to come and speak. He said, I told him I had nothing to do with it. How you invite a man who just stoned our students and is the harbinger of violence and even death in our country, lawlessness? You invite him to meet our leaders in Rhode Island, to give him the kudos as a good leader in Liberia? He said, Chesson, what's wrong with these guys? I said, well, I just talk about it on my show. So let the people go and watch it. Let Liberian people see it. So all this thing he said was initiated by Winston Gould, who was a former president for 20 years of a dysfunctional Liberian Community Association. Now he finished moving to Liberia, got a company there, and to make money, he promised Jefferson Koji that he would get the leaders in Rhode Island here and the Liberian in serving in government here who went to join the CTC in Liberia to come back to be a government official in Rhode Island and perpetrate the ambition or goals of the CTC government in Rhode Island. So they inviting this violent man, this harbinger of death and violence in our state, to invite him to our lawmakers and everybody and give him citation for good governance in Liberia. Do you believe this? Do you believe this? This is where our country going now. You know, our people here they never live in Liberia. They don't understand the plight of the Liberian people. The leaders of our community association in Liberia, in Rhode Island now, the leaders of the Liberian Community Association never live in Liberia. They came to this country when they were small. They don't understand the plight of the Liberian people. They don't understand even the politics of the Liberian people. When you talk to them, they're praising this man, telling us he should do better when this man has already breaking our country down. So these people in America have no concept about leadership of Africa and what happened in our country. They got degrees. That's why our country is so messed up. All of them got master degrees and all these things, but they understand nothing about governance, nothing about leadership, nothing about our people. So they go home with this American mentality that, oh, it's supposed to be that, it's supposed to be that, and they have no experience in governing even the Liberian Community Association. Look how they're governing our community association, because you can see that Jefferson Koji gives people money for them to invite him here to do what he comes to do. Or it's part of their party politics for the people in Rhode Island government who are CDCians to come and perpetrate this criminal government and leaders of this criminal regime in Rhode Island. This is not right. And Liberian people know it's not right. If Melvin Howard can call me and say, Chesson, these people crazy. This man these people just stoned our children, and this man, it was the leader of it all. And they invited him to Rhode Island to give him what? Citation, to invite him to our leaders to say what? He's a good leader. This man is immature. He's even down as the murderer of the American general who was killed in his room when somebody came from the ceiling to kill them. This man is short and tight enough to fit in the ceiling and hide, and people believe it was Jefferson Cody. The news all over Liberia, Monrovia too. From childhood to time, it's no secret. This man is a harbinger of violence and death. And he's our city mayor. And the people in Rhode Island here will invite him to come and meet our state representative to honor him. And what even worse, they're using the Providence School Department as their site for this man to come speak to our people. I think Zawiye, who is in Rhode Island, Melvin Howard told me yesterday, he said, Zawiye is so pissed, he getting up this morning to go to the school department to tell the people about this man and that they should not use the school department to bring this man here to speak to anybody. And this is how some sound thinking Liberians are pissed off with what these other money grabbers are doing. I saw Jefferson Cody pay people or that CDC interest, these people working for our government trying to promote in the city by bringing this killer to introduce him to our state representatives and leaders. This is not right. And I appeal to my state representatives to reject any offer to meet with this man, to give him a citation, or to do anything for this killer. This man does not deserve to even come to Rhode Island. He deserves not to enter our state. But because of the evil ways and criminal behaviors of some of our own people in Rhode Island, they're going to bring this evil, violent, devilish man to show us and talk to us like he's some kind of man of good governance. My people in Rhode Island, please stand up with us for truth and justice and honor in Liberia. We cannot continue to promote and perpetrate these evil people among us as good leaders of our society, community, or world. These people need to be in jail for the rest of their lives. And so help me God, the time of the Liberian people is now. Aluta continua. My class is done. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Take heed and govern yourselves accordingly. Safety first. Bye-bye, my people.